Elizabeth, so cool to meet another Melburnian and to see her doing so well.
Oh, so nice to meet you too.
Christopher Nolan has said about you, he thought about you for the role of Kat, but then he saw you play an American so well in The Widows that he almost wrote you off. How did you convince him otherwise?
Uh, well, I didn't see, this is so interesting. I didn't know this was all happening. I mean, actors, we don't really know that all these thoughts are happening like behind the scenes. I suppose I convinced him by auditioning for her with an English accent. I think that's probably how I did it.
Yeah. Well, you've been on so many amazing sets, The Great Gatsby, Guardians of the Galaxy, The Night Manager. What's a Christopher Nolan set like?
It really is its own separate world. It's unlike anything I've ever worked on before. I mean, there's so many things that make the scale of a Christopher Nolan picture so kind of larger than life. And some of that is just sort of like the geography we covered in this movie. We went to so many different countries and we would just sort of pack up like this traveling circus and just appear somewhere else. And then 24 hours later, we were still rolling the cameras like in a different continent. But also the duration of shooting this film. But I think that it's interesting because for me, the experience was going into it. I thought this is completely surreal and overwhelming, and it's a Chris Nolan set, and it's how do I do this, and etc. But as soon as I kind of stepped onto the movie, all of that drops away because you're very clear about what it is you're there to make. And Nolan is a filmmaker. Again, it's sort of like the legend and the icon. But when you're working with him, there's such a focus and intimacy and efficiency, really, as a filmmaker, that you just sort of trust the process. And in a way, you stop thinking. You just kind of surrender to the rhythm of that set and the engine under that set too.
It's such a cool set. As are you, like you're often cast as like the cool, elegant character, but I've heard you classify yourself as a dag in real life. Why is
I
that? And maybe explain to our audience what a dag is.
I sometimes I feel like we need to do this nationally. Like Australians need to like decide the definition of dag and then like let it be universally known. But I guess what I mean by that is it's sort of like very different to the things I often play. And I don't know, what do you mean when you say a dag? Someone who's just kind of, I guess you would say like goofy or dorky or something, but it's slightly different, isn't it? It's like you just kind of like, I mean, I grew up in the suburbs, like I went to school, like walked to school with my backpack. Like I just, it's so funny because I've often got to play these like incredibly heightened archetypal sort of roles as well, like what I got to play with James Gunn in Guardians, or even the character I got to play, Man from Uncle, with Guy Ritchie. And so they're so heightened, and I look at them and I love to play those roles, and they're so juicy, but they're so far removed from who I am. So yeah.
And finally, next, your iconic role, Princess Diana. How are you feeling about? I know you can't tell us anything, but how do you personally feel about that?
I mean, uh, it's a dream, really. It's a dream role, and she is such a remarkable human being, and she really does live in the hearts of so many people still. And I mean, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm sort of terrified, and I'm excited, and all the good stuff put together. But really, I just actually can't wait to start it. So
But in the meantime, we can see you in Tenet. You are absolutely brilliant. Elizabeth, it's been such a joy to chat to you.
thank you. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you.
Okay.
You too.